Hi, everyone. Good evening. Uh, I'd like my panel to have a seat at the table or in the audience, wherever. Um, so just to set a little bit of context about today's session, we've seen digitalization in fashion, and we've been talking about it, I guess, all day long at this conference. Digitalization of fashion has always existed. However, with the pandemic, with the advent of the pandemic, customers adopting digital a lot more, um, it has become kind of the perfect storm for us, and with retailers adopting cloud and big data, etc. It's kind of created the perfect storm for a much more rapid digitalization in fashion. So while fashion's been enabled by technology, with all of these factors coming in, it's now going to take off and it's rather accelerating at a fast pace. That's the first thing. Now, if I look at technology in today's space, in today's, in this current year and the last maybe couple of years, it is expanding across the entire, so to say, value chain of the fashion business. Be it at the customer front end, where personalization has become a very important aspect. And personalization, thanks to a lot of retailers taking to the cloud, uh, purely for the ability to have data available to their entire organizations, be it at stores, at warehouses, for their employees. So having data on the cloud, which makes it available to various people across the company. That's been one of the big things, I would say, adoption of cloud, which has enabled AI and then customer personalization. If I look at technology beyond the customer, if you look at supply chain, there has been, again, increasing automation. A lot of use of AI starting to come in even on the supply chain side, be it on the planning, merchandise planning, be it looking at RFID data and being able to make some sense out of it. Integration with marketplaces, that's another thing for the smaller brands. So digitalization's enabling all of this stuff to happen. I would say that a lot of retailers that have, with all of this technology available, a lot of retailers are trying to take up technology now, right? I would say that the people who have been quick to look at their use cases and say, where do I use this tech, will actually, and in some cases have already started to reap benefits out of adopting more tech on the, for the fashion business. There are those that have been a little skeptical and said, let's play it out and see what happens, and then we will adopt. I think for retailers that move a little slowly, with so much of technology available, with so much of customers being ready to adopt, anyone who moves slow on this would risk kind of not knowing their customer well enough, and hence, not being in the mind space of the customer and losing their customer. So I think with this context, I would like to open up this discussion. I'll invite Neeraj to the floor, maybe. I'll step down. And we will talk about a few themes. Let's just have the next slide up. We will talk about 6 themes. Who's running the presentation? Yeah. So we're going to talk about 6 themes: personalization, connected stores, supply chain tech, digital tools, merchandise optimization, and sustainability. We've got a fantastic panel distributed across various parts of the fashion and lifestyle industry. So let's hope we get some great takeaways for everyone. Yeah, Neeraj, welcome.
Thanks, Vikram, for the quick intro. Hi, guys. I'm Neeraj Jaipuria. I'm founder CEO at BI Retail. We are a retail-specific analytics company. I think Vikram's already set the context, so we'll straight dive into hearing from all the experts who are sitting on the panel today. We've got 6 themes that we put up here. Of course, these were just guidelines, but we are open to talking about other themes as well. Let's open up questions on the first theme around personalization. So, of course, I think all of us understand personalization. This is the CX forum. So everything that we're talking is around CX. All these themes are ultimately driving towards the betterment of the CX, the experience that we all strive as retailers. So on the CX, let me invite a few of the panelists to share their ideas. We are basically talking about, or rather just to set the guideline, we asking you to talk about one small use case of technology implementation in the particular theme that you are going to talk about. So if we talk about personalization, Ritu, can I start with you and you tell us what Soch has done?
Mic. So I'll share my mic. I think let's be down here. Walk around downside will be better.
Am I audible? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think in terms of personalization, we are using personalization at a lot of levels, like right from the platform which we use, the Magento, that itself supports a lot of personalization in terms of the recommendations that we throw. There is personalization in the e-com space in terms of the creatives that are shown basis the customer's profile, their prior interactions. But I think speaking more about AI creeping into it, I think the latest, of course, is the ChatGPT, where everyone in the team is using it to draft their emails, create the marketing captions, and now even to create the creatives. Like, I think there's one partner outside who can use it to create different backgrounds for the images, for the shoots. And I mean, there are other options where you don't even need to do those shoots, but of course in the fashion space we do need to. And of course Soch has been using multiple of those solutions, and the idea is that everything has to be a very strong, intent purchase. A lot of fashion purchases, at least our impulse purchases, is rarely any need to purchase. And through personalization, you can actually connect to the, the core of the customer, the nerve of the customer, and make them fulfill a need or a want, rather than just saying that, this is a great product, because all products are great, but where do you draw that connect with the customer? And that's where personalization really helps us.
Thanks, Ritu. Anil, do you want to share some thoughts on personalization?
Sure, thanks. So from our Lulu point of view, so first I start with personalization. Personalization itself has a different definition for each brand, each person, right? Each organization by itself. So for us, we have now moved from a personalization to more hyper-personalization for now. From the aspect saying that because we have so much of data, say for example, 2 years back or 1 year back, we were talking about 64 attributes of a persona, right? Now we're talking about thousands of attributes of a persona. So what we do right now is, and crunching so much of data is like passe for most of us, right? Deploying an AI on top of it makes it easier for us to go into the next level of personalization, if I have to speak out, and also make sure that how much of this data is really worth it. That's something which we are coming into from a personalization point of view and from an AI on the attributes point of view.
So tell me, Ritu, Anil, have you all implemented anything specific related to personalization which actually resulted in, let's say, like a campaign that you did that was very personalized to customers, that resulted in a sales bump up or something of that sort?
Yeah, we generally do that for food and apparel both, right? So from food, this is not the right forum, but yeah, from an apparel point of view, yes. We run shows with for kids, right? And we know what are the buying habits from whatever we have right now. And we know we have segmented it, obviously. That's a no-brainer for us. When we take at the luxury segment of it, we try to make sure that they are preferred brands. When we took feedback from them from a larger aspect of things, we brought in that aspect of luxury with what they were demanding for. So I knew actually Anil, when he went to the store, he had this brand to be brought in, which was not there at the store. We try to play with that much of attributes to make sure that that product is available to the customer and see the buying pattern of the larger customer on top of it. So that level of personalization does go in. That's why we invite the parents and the kids to play around.
Mayur, do you want to shed some light on personalization before we move on to the next theme?
Sure. So for us, all the personalization and AI efforts currently are concentrated towards product discovery. We have about 60,000 odd products on the website, and our products are very different, right? Each product is different from the other product. So it becomes very important for us to put the right product in front of the customers. Right? So what we are working on currently is we are building a personalized pyramid of discovery. Right? So how it works is on top is extreme personalization, where we identify what this customer wants, what is looking for, and we identify exact match of the products. Right? And as we go down, we kind of loosen it a bit so that customers can now see a little bit more. So there is some serendipity that also creeps in, right? That, okay, I was looking for X product, but Y looks much better, right? And there's one very, very interesting use case on which we are working currently is match my dress. So most women customers for us, they try to match the jewelry with the sari or any dress that they are buying. And generally that purchase happens before jewelry, right? So we're working on something where they can upload the photo of their apparel, right? And we will identify what elements, motifs, colors, kind of dress it is, and what jewelry will go well with that, right? And what it does, it makes it extremely easy for our customers to then match. They don't have to wait for the product, the other product to come, then the jewelry to come, then match, send it back, get something else, right? So this is the kind of personalization that we are working on currently. Everything is focused on discovery.
So Vikram, you want to take on the next theme, I think connected stores?
Yeah, I just want to have one more question on personalization between all of y'all. So what is it that, Ritu, you mentioned that understanding the customer better, knowing what the customer needs, not what they necessarily want. You talked about, the whole pyramid and how you are loosening it and making certain known parameters available to customer and certain unknown products, right? And Anil, you talked about how you bumped up. What is it from an implementation point of view, what is it that you did? I think that would be very relevant to the audience here, that what is it that enabled you to do that? Is it that you all took a cloud journey, you put your data on the cloud, or is it that you had a focus group that only looked at how do I build these parameters with respect to the customer? So if you could share just a little bit, next 60 seconds on how did you do that?
And if I can just add to that, the next themes that we're going to take, whoever's speaking, I think that's very relevant. It'll help all of us in the audience to understand what specifically was done rather than the generic ideas, which I think all of us are aware of.
Yeah, so basically, at Soch, we are still in the process of implementing it. But at one of my previous organizations, what we had done was basically build a database of the customers' profile basis all their interactions with our brand. This was at my previous company, at House of Anita Dongre, and we had a CRM system which had the complete customers' profiles. And then to be able to marry that data with the online data, so that when a customer comes, we know that, okay, this particular customer has shown interest in, say, buying kids wear. So you would want to show that person, kids wear also. Otherwise, has this person shown interest in buying tops or in buying a particular color or a particular, like Anil just mentioned, there are various attributes in fashion which you can attribute it to. And making the recommendations to them basically basis that. Likewise, so category plays a very important part. Second is in terms of the geography of the user. So for example, in fashion, if you look at East India, during, the whole Durga Puja is a very, very big festival there. So the buying bumps up a lot for it. So for people who are accessing it from there or who are from that ethnicity, if you are showing them, festive wear at that point of time, it makes a lot of difference versus say if it's during, Diwali or during Navratri for Gujarati people, you'll want to show a different set of products. So that whole aspect of, demographics, which is not really hyper-personalization, but personalization to an extent, that definitely has a very direct impact on the sales, and we've observed that.
So you're saying that you had one database of your customers for
Single
both online
database.
offline businesses.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes, and it's basically a common database, so all online orders, offline orders are fed into the system, and it's like a single journey for the customer, irrespective of where they have come from. It's a unified experience to the customer.
Okay, perfect. Let's change gears a little bit. Okay, Anil, you can share, and then we'll change gears.
Sure, I got it. So for us, it was more, first of all, it was silos, which was brought into a single one, which is called as the CDPs of the world. We went with a tool on the cloud, and then we started bringing the persona out there. So that was as a stepwise process, getting into one single bucket, getting on the cloud one, because you'll have a litmus test which can do. It's a focus group which runs this whole litmus test and see what the success ratios are, and then move it into a complete production, and have this whole connected stores to be worked on.
Good, excellent. So we'll still stick to the customer side of it. We talked about personalization with customers. So we'll now move on to connected stores, which is still customer specific. You want to talk a little bit about connected stores, or should I? And then, yeah, so connected stores, basically what we are talking here about is a lot of retailers are introducing technology within the store, right? Be it to provide a customer with, like, let's say, an endless aisle experience, or a self-checkout type of an experience, because guys are getting smarter that, hey, if a customer walks in, I'm losing opportunity of a customer to didn't find a product and didn't find a size or a color and walked out. So they start to now provide endless aisles and provide information even in the hands of the associate, right, in the store, to tell a customer that, hey, if you cannot find the size, I'll find it to you. Here's my online website, and access it right from there and enable a sale. And even, for that matter, do an upsell over there, right? So that's really about connected stores, having technology in store, having information available to everyone. I think with that context, let us talk to Bhavin. Yeah, Ace Turtle, maybe you can talk to us about your experience. And try to talk about how we did it. What we did is one thing, but how will help everyone, I think, understand. How should we go about doing it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Vikram. Yeah, I'm Bhavin. I represent Ace Turtle, the brand, licensed brand owner for Lee, Wrangler, Toys R Us, Babies R Us in India. So I'll give the example of the system which we have already implemented. So I don't think it's an idea. From a connected store perspective, if I say we have a flagship stores across India, where we have a RFID, we have a smart mirror, we have a electronic shelf labels, we have a AI-enabled CCTVs. Okay, so I'll primarily talk about electronic shelf label right now in interest of time. So see how a problem can be solved is any point in time your solution should be driven towards the problem to be solved. So there is always a problem in the consumer's mind that will I get the same price on online and offline? So how you build that trust to a consumer, trust to your franchisee investors that I am selling any product in offline which is the same price on online. Okay, this is a very basic, I said the consumer problem. So we went with the ESL. How it works is we have a single price engine. Single price engine, whenever, like even not only we want to change a price, but there is a price change due to Myntra coming with an event, due to AGO coming with an event, and you want to correct your prices by certain extent, okay? How you give the same experience across the channel, not only online, but offline, and ensuring that this is a absolutely zero operational pain. Because today, if you want to go and change a price, you have to communicate to customer, right? So that's where we seen an opportunity here, and we gone ahead and ensured that we implement this ESLs across India. And believe me, today, if I go and change a price in my central system, it is just changing in next 5 minutes across India, all my marketplace channels, all my point of sale and shelves across the store. Not only giving that feel to the consumer that yes, I am not being cheated. Because there is a typical sentiment in consumer, okay, I had been overcharged or lower charged, okay. It has not only solved the price parity issue, but then with the same ESL, we could solve the endless aisle solution problem also. So consumer is in the floor, he has liked the product, but he's not having a size. But there is a QR code there. You scan that, the same page is available on your mobile. You convert the consumer there, and you ensure that you are sending a satisfied customer out of the store. Okay. So I must say that with this solution today, from a conversion perspective, we have repeatedly seen customer writing to our platform, writing to our social sites that this was an amazing experience. They have not seen such kind of collaborative experience where they have a least dependence on my store staff. We have a communication, loud communication, guaranteed price parity. Okay, this itself is building an amazing trust and a repeat customer. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Bhavin. Bhavin from Triumph, you'd like to talk?
Actually, I would have liked to talk a little more on personalization, but connected stores. While we operate on 3 models, one model is a traditional trade, that is the mom and pop stores, plus the distribution network. Apart from that, we are in modern trade, which is lifestyle central, which is lifestyle shoppers. And we've got a franchise model. So having our own stores with a franchise model, it is a little bit more of a task. How do we connect online to offline? But while we're working on it, we do have customers that buy online, but it is also fulfilled from the franchise stores as well. Most importantly, in our category, personalization, I would say, with connected stores even becomes more imperative because we are selling bras. It's a product that has to be tried on. You don't try it, how would you end up buying? So we are seeing a good amount of people moving and adopting to buy online while they know they are right size. But I would surely say women, whatever over here are, many of you all might not be wearing the right size of the bra. Hence, getting them fitted at the store. So the next thing that we're working on is, with the help of an AI, how can they try getting fitted without actually trying on a bra? Hence, we come with a fit calculator. How would you, it's easier because knowing, I really felt a little appalling over here because there's just one woman representation amongst all of us. It's not cool. So I feel that women's body have gone through a lot of changes from the time of puberty till the time they mature at different stages, from marriage to things. How do you know them? Knowing a woman is most important part of everything that we do because she's our end consumer. Hence, how do we get digital, get to her? Because she might not be comfortable going and trying out a bra, even at a regular mom and pop store. It's just that her mother used to buy something, so she's buying it. Hence, for her own space, a personalized space, there's a fit calculator that we've come up with. So while I would not say it's a technology, but it's something very simple, we put it online. What you used to do it in an Excel, you just do it on a system that has a journey that shows what could be the right fit. So I think that has worked really well for us to drive the D2C numbers, also at the stores as well.
I think if you extend your fit calculator, today it may be something that the end user is using it. But if you're starting to collect data of how users are using your fit calculator, you can use AI and then start making recommendations as well.
Exactly.
So there's an opportunity, I think, there.
That's the idea going forward. Yeah.
And just one thought that came to me while you talked about women not wearing the right size. It's very surprising that nobody talks about men not wearing the right size of underwear. Why do we only assume that there are women who would not be? So just a thought that came to my mind.
Vikram, I think there are some brands who are actually talking about this already on national television.
Very easy to talk about that,
I think
that's the whole point.
There has to be more conversation.
There is a reason to that as well. Okay. Because women's body change every 6 months, men's body do not.
We can have that conversation outside.
Yeah. So I think with that, we'll move on to the next theme. We're talking of, innovations in supply chain technology. Just to set the context right, we're not only talking of, your vendor ecosystem with supply chain, but supply chain extends all the way right up to if you're running offline stores, you're talking about availability of the right product at the right place, right time, right? If you're talking of marketplaces, similarly exposing your inventory correctly over there. With that, I think on supply chain, we can, maybe I'll ask Ulhas from SECO to give us, I think you were talking about an end-to-end solution. Great to share that with the audience. Thanks.
Hi, I represent Seiko Watch India. My name is Ulhas. Coming to this point, supply chain as a technology, I would like to specify that in terms of supply chain, there is no raw material, there is no procurement in supply chain when I'm discussing supply chain. It's the forward leg, right? For us as a brand, we receive end product in India. So we don't have a manufacturing facility in India. So for us, supply chain starts with import. So something unique that we have done in India for our brand is we have gone digital in the supply chain tracking system. We have made a specific solution available only for us. I mean, there might be similar solutions available elsewhere, but the solution is developed for us. It's not an off-the-shelf solution. What we do is every watch that comes into the country today gets tagged with a QR code. Why QR code and why not RFIDs? RFIDs are expensive and they are not a sustainable way to live because you dispose of RFIDs in whatever ways that is. So we move with a more easy usable QR code, which is a more elaborate tech advancement in this space. Every single product that we come in is serial number tagged with a QR code. It enters a warehouse system. From the warehouse system till the store, the entire chain of flow is tracked by the system at multiple points. So it might look like a very tedious process for every other partner involved in the chain that they need to do multiple activations or variations in various technological interventions to keep this in check. It's not so. The warehouse team during their outward, which is most of the team members here do anyways, the system creates a trigger saying that this is being shipped. All the store team needs to do is once they receive it, there is a QC inventory inwarding process, and post that they just click on accept, which practically makes the entire journey of that particular product till the last point of sale tracked, which also gives the backend team a complete visibility of what stores carry, what inventory is selling, what's not, what's stuck for a long time, aging. All the metrics that we're talking about those metrics are not automated, let me be honest about it. The teams sit behind and put through their head to get those metrics analyzed. But the data that is used for analysis is readily available at their fingertips. This does not end at the store point of sale. It translates to a digital e-warranty system for us, which at point of sale, which the store manager on a simple click activates the warranty, which triggers our back-end service system that a warranty for this watch starts at a so-and-so time, the company authorized warranty ends at so-and-so time, and the customer carries away the watch. If he wants to, he can use the same QR code system to download his manual, extend his warranty, track his warranty status, see video trainings of the watch, see catalog updations of the watch, and roll back into our website for further updations of website related our new product launch, etc. So everything is integrated to a simple QR code. Now, this is not overpowering in any sense. We have kept it as small as possible so that the customer does not feel that it's going to be on their face. So, yeah, that's.
Thanks, Ulhas. Maybe we'd go to Malik. Malik, before you tell us what Mass Holdings has done towards supply chain, if you can, in quick 30 seconds, highlight what is the one largest challenge on the supply chain side, and then probably talk about a solution. But quick.
So good evening, everyone. Good to be here amongst all the colleagues from retail. So MAS Holdings is a manufacturing company, but we provide all services of supply chain included. So we were having the chat earlier. I think one of the biggest challenges in retail today is we have a lot of point of sale data in the front, and there's a lot of automation happening in the factory flow. But I think in between the point of sale and the factory flow serving that need, there isn't enough interaction, or there is no trust, because the retailer can't share that information openly. But we have had a couple of large brands in the West who have given us point of sale data and the staging and ensuring that they have the right size, right color has increased by 23%. That means you are selling at full price. So we realize that in this current marketplace where you can't hold that much of inventory and capital is stuck and all of that, it's important for the retailer and the right at the back, the manufacturer who has the sophistication to deal with it, to come together and talk. So I feel it's important that from the manufacturing point of view, we are doing that for some brands. And we are seeing that we are fulfilling those right color, right size that they couldn't in the past. There are certain tools that are there, various softwares and AIs that are there. I think the retailers have a lot of information. If you can figure out how to share that, of course, with some data security and all of that, there is a way to ensure that you have it right color, right size on the shop floor. And going all the way up to the digital tools on design and all of that. All of this is now digital. It's just that, are we talking to each other? Maybe not good enough. So I think there are tools now, and we have managed to crack and reduce lead times by half, sometimes even design to deliver in 14 days. In the old days, staging models had either you have to stage raw material or you have to stage finished good. Now you can do it without, as long as the point of sale data and that conversation happens live. So I'm encouraged that I'm seated amongst the retail leaders here and that we have solutions, not just our company, but I'm saying a lot of manufacturers who can do that.
Yeah, so Vikram, I think what we'll do is quickly jump onto merchandising and then come back to 3D design. Merchandising is kind of an offshoot of your supply chain anyways, right? But it's become such an integral or critical area of a brand or a retailer that it definitely demands its own space in the supply chain umbrella. So lots of tools, lots of AI, ML available today, which are very easily consumable at a low cost and a low turnaround. We'd like to hear from a few of the brands here of how they are actually making that work. So, Ketan, do you want to talk about how Modernic is doing this?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ketan, representing Modernic Lifestyle. We are a house of brands operating in the essential wear innerwear space. Brands namely Dixie Scott, which is a men's brand. We have a licensing with Levi's as well for the men's bodywear. And we have our own women's brand called Enamor. The use cases that I'll talk about is particularly with respect to Enamor, which is the women's wear brand. So Enamor as a brand generally appeals to the TG of 28 plus, not the Gen Z space, and Gen Z is the buzzword of the day, as we all know. So this was the problem statement of how do you make the brand appeal to Gen Z, and with a huge legacy of product being developed for a TG which is very different, how do you solve that problem? So here is where we leveraged capabilities from external partners, particularly Myntra, on using their AI ML capabilities to understand innerwear that could fit in based on Gen Z's buying behavior on Myntra's forward platform of outerwear. And using that to develop a range, we've just launched that range in the market about a month ago. It's called Enamor EXO, very different appeal, very different fits, very different colors, very different sizing, etc. And we're hoping it'll become big. That's one use case. The second use case was more of what Bhavin also mentioned, online, offline, sort of blending together with expansion happening on the exclusive brand outlets front, and for us it's more company owned rather than franchised. To get a return on the investment, it was more critical, and hence a greater SPSF and inventory optimization as well, and that's where merchandising optimization came in as an opportunity. We generally used to approach it from a generalistic lens that if a store is opening in a particular region, you look at the region's offline multi-brand outlet buying behavior and accordingly build the assortment. And EBOs, the space is tight. Lingerie, bras has 16 sizes, multiple colors. You can showcase only X number of options. Customers coming in, walking in, not finding the products going out, or merchandise which is not required lying in the stores for a long time, not coming back. To solve that problem, what we were able to leverage, not so much of AI, but actual data mining, was to look at our marketplace e-commerce data and our D2C data, which is available at a pin code level, and devise a technique that at least once a quarter look at your throughputs that are coming in from online, use queues to curate assortment in the EBOs. So changing sizes, placing merchandise together, for example, having a panty table next to a large size bra, corresponding Excel panties next to a large size, for example. Those kind of experiments is what we tried, and we've seen good results coming out of that as well. So some small examples, but practical examples which we've been able to leverage and put in place.
Okay, let's take it forward. Let's go to Arvind Fashions, a big player in the apparel space and lifestyle space, I guess. So merchandising, some of the use cases that you have used, that would help.
Sure, thanks, Vikram. I represent Arvind Fashion. We have a couple of our brands, which is Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin, US Polo, Flying Machine, and Arrow. We were early adopters when it came to digital. We invested in marketplace. We invested on the tech side of it much before COVID. And I'll probably talk about connected stores as one of the use case and merchandising optimization. I'll start with merchandising optimization. So we picked up, I'll just pick up two specific use cases. One was around how do we create bestsellers, and we in-house call it bestseller chase. So we said we are creating inventory. Can we come up with an inventory which makes sense, which has a longer shelf life in the online space? So it's like a core for the online space. And we have now kind of got that formula right, where we do launch some new products, let's say every 4 months. And then depending on the performance of it in online space, depending on the matrices around discoverability and the entire funnel data, we are able to finalize and shortlist styles which have a longer shelf life. So I'll give you a few examples. One of our SKU on the footwear side called Clarkins, we sell 10,000 units of it in a month on Myntra alone. And that SKU has been running for 4 years now. We started this on the apparel side around 6 months back, and we looked at men's shirt. I'll share one example from there as well. We picked up a Royal Oxford shirt, and it sells 6,000 units on a monthly basis on Myntra alone. So one of the use cases we did was, can we use tech and optimize the inventory that we are creating, and can we do a bestseller chase around it? Second use case I'll pick up on the merchandising optimization is on the pricing side. So a couple of months back, we again developed a proprietary tool in-house where we were able to do the price optimization to a point where we started saving around 0.7 to 1% kind of CM3 by looking at the funnel data and tweaking the pricing depending on what the algorithm was telling us. So instead of doing a flat pricing, we've developed this proprietary tool. So it has helped out. We've been using tech to do merchandising optimization, and it's helping us on the top line as well as on the bottom line. Specifically on the connected stores, with your permission, please. Quickly on the connected stores, we looked at the connected stores problem from the supply and demand point of view. We said the whole experience, can we improve the customer experience? Instead of delivering goods in 5 days, can we deliver it in 48 hours? So we started connecting stores, and to a point where 80% of our stores are connected for omni fulfillment. Of course, the lead times have reduced, but the good part is there are a few stores where we go as high as 25% of the store revenue coming from omni. There are stores where like-to-like is delivered because of omni. So we started off from the customer experience point of view when we connected these stores, but ultimately resulted in stores becoming viable for us and started making that much more money for us. On the demand side, I think Neeraj already spoke about it, and Vikram also spoke about it. We have those tabs where you can access endless aisles in the stores. Around 2.5% of our revenue comes from Omni, Save the Sale, Endless Aisle. And we've just launched one of our largest store in the world for US Polo in Jayanagar. That's where we have put up an entire endless aisle screen where we have Save the Sale, Endless Aisle, as well as you can shop on the .com as well from that location. So we've been investing and been using tech for quite some time. It's yielding good results for us.
Yeah, Satish, please.
So
I was going to
I think it's kind of back to back with what Nitesh says, right? Because he's my consumer, he's my user. So I think a few underlying elements, since he's explained the whole process side, so clearly. I think the key to all of this is going to be data. And what we have actually done is we have harvested a lot of our data out of our transactional systems, be it SAP or point of sale or any logistics system and stuff like that. We've actually harvested the data into a cloud platform, which runs on Google, and it is powered by BigQuery. And today we have a rich ecosystem of seamless data, which actually converts a lot of this, transactions into specific decision points, right? Which actually make those decisions with respect to, converting a core product into a bestseller, or a core into a dynamic core, or when do you actually make a pricing decision on a fashion item. So these are decisions which have largely been driven by the data that is coming out of the platform, right? So that is one part of the tech stack. The second part of the tech stack is how do we actually drive efficiencies within the the supply chain itself, and that kind of borders into the item number 3 is see, basically the volatility of the fashion supply chain is pretty profound, right? So you can have a late winter, you can have a late summer, or you can have a very harsh summer, or you can have a very rainy autumn, right? There's so many things that can go right or wrong, and your Diwali can be in Q3 or Q4 depending on which year you are and stuff like that. So a lot of this means that we end up with and ours being almost a 75-80% fashion business, volatility is something that we need to manage better, right? And what we've done is we've actually put a whole lot of tech stack around, based on the ideas of theory of constraints, which actually manage these demand signals very effectively, right from the point of store and converting it based on lead times and MOQs and all this stuff to the point of fabricing and garmenting of that particular item. So the whole demand to supply route is kind of tech enabled with a very common thread of pipe, which is driven by the a theory of constraint application.
Thanks, Satish. I think again, because of paucity of time, we'll quickly just move on. I know Rajesh from Blackberries had a very interesting story to tell about the humanizing angle of data and tech. So over to you.
Thank you. So I had a different perspective to this conversation. While when we talk about digital, we jump into AI customizing conversations. We, by default, think about communicating in a personalized way, digitally. But then I come from a offline heavy world. So for me, it's about leveraging digital to personalize experience physically. I mean, when the consumer walks in, because even today, the biggest problem statement is, while we are probably the best in the industry, we retain about 17% of consumers who come for the first time. 17% of them we are able to retain, and that's about it. And you can imagine I'm saying probably best in the industry. So that's a missed opportunity. We focus on keep on acquiring new consumers. So for example, what we have done is we have built a custom tool where stores are able to identify who are their top gold or platinum consumers, and able to personalize their communication with those consumers through that tool. I mean, they will know what they shopped, when they shopped, with their favorite fit, their favorite color. So imagine a phone call from a store manager to a high-value consumer saying, hey, Rajesh, you loved our fit, you had the suit, now I have this fresh collection, why don't you come in? Two, probably avoiding conflicts of, let's say we have 370 stores roughly, and 250 cities, so and there are multiple 1,250 touch points overall. So one consumer will move around the ecosystem. So how do we ensure, for example, our stores are able to not call the same consumer multiple times or communicate through digitally or physically? So we are able to, through this tool, identify their favorite stores. They are able to deduplicate communication. So my biggest take would be that we should also look at the physical experience which consumers finally come down to, not leave that on the table. That's where I would say.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, tech is there to serve the human angle, right? And very often we put the cart before the horse. So I think a great point there. I think the last speaker on a panel, Pulkit, I know you'd like to talk on one or two of these topics, but please choose, and over to you.
Hi everyone, this is Pulkit from the House of Rare. We have brands Rare Rabbit and Rareism. I can stitch 2 points together if you want, which is personalization and connected store. So in connected store, we had a problem, which is now resolved, which was loyalty points. We are pretty healthy on our business on D2C own website. and we were giving out loyalty points there. Same thing was offline. Offline was also giving loyalty points, but they were not married. The day we started that and we looked at the data, we surprised ourselves. The overlap of customers in our EBOs versus our own website, it's a huge chunk. And when it comes to points that you mentioned, like retention, retention goes into a different level of thought. And in that stream, we were able to actually retain and understand a lot. And overlapping data of our online, and online we have a multitude of data. We have 100 plus events on our own website. We have fewer events when it comes to offline. But still, when we have data of someone who is shopping online and his browse history, his click stream, and understanding what's his shopping behavior offline, there's a lot we can do. It's a Pandora box. So we have already cracked few things. We're also trying to, just throw an idea, we are also trying to bridge that data, the data which we have, and back to marketing. And once we do that, we are in process. Once we do that, I think we're going to again unlock quite a few things there. Thank you.
Sure, great.
So I think let's wrap it up. It's been a big panel, and we've had like almost an hour to us. The broad message I would say at the end of it is you've heard, and we'll drop a couple of them: sustainability and 3D use of 3D modeling. We'll drop it due to paucity of time. But essentially, what's I guess a lot of you would have heard is different retailers, manufacturers, etc., talking about different use cases of these various themes. I think the point here is not to necessarily get a story out of it, but to take individual takeaways and reach out to the individual folks here for specific use cases that you feel might be relevant to you from a tech point of view. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think each one of the members on the panel are a rich source of great learning. So thank you so much for this time. People in the audience, please feel free to interact with all of them. Vikram is
and us as well.
And us as well. Yes. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for your time.